There's a reason canaries were once carried down into the coal mines. A bird's body is so sensitive to airborne toxins that it reacts long before a human notices anything at all. Here's the part most people don't know: the invisible fumes that come off an overheated nonstick pan can kill a pet bird in the next room within minutes. Veterinarians see it often enough that they have a name for it: polymer fume fever. And if you have ever felt vaguely unwell, headachy, or fluish after scorching a nonstick pan, that has a name too. People call it Teflon flu. So if that's what an ordinary kitchen can do to a small living thing in one afternoon, it's fair to ask what a lifetime of these quiet, everyday exposures is doing to you. If you've been doing everything right and still feel stuck, I want you to hear this clearly. It's very likely not your fault. And it's not all in your head. A lot of this is hiding in plain sight in products that are marketed to you as clean, fresh, and healthy. And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Gayla Gorman, a licensed acupuncturist, naturopath, and author of What's Your Kryptonite? On this channel, I'm here to help you reverse the effects of chronic stress so that you can cruise through midlife and beyond symptom-free. Now, before we walk through the list, I have a free resource that will help you start lowering your toxic load right away. Just comment the word guide below or go to drgayla.com/links, and I'll send it right over. You can also scan the QR code right here on the screen. Let me give you the one idea that makes the rest of this video make sense. Your body has a finite capacity to detox and repair. Think of it like a bucket. Every chemical you take in from your food, your water, the air in your home, and the products you put on your skin adds a little more to the bucket. When you are also under chronic stress, which describes almost every woman watching this, that bucket is already close to full. So the goal today is simple. We're not chasing perfection. We're pulling out the avoidable items so your body has room to do its own work. The leading hormone science body in this country, the Endocrine Society, has a plain language page on these endocrine disrupting chemicals. And almost every swap I'm about to give you comes straight off their own list of precautions. So this isn't fringe. This is mainstream science that simply hasn't reached most kitchens yet. And this is not a hunch. A 2023 review in the journal Frontiers in Endocrinology looked specifically at how the everyday endocrine disrupting chemicals we're covering today, the phthalates, the plastics, the pesticides, affect women's ovaries. And the researchers found that these chemicals drive oxidative stress, a kind of cellular wear and tear that damages the ovaries and can push a woman toward early or even premature menopause. I'll put the link to the study on the screen and in the description so you can read it for yourself. Let's start where your day starts. Number 1, hot coffee or tea through a plastic to-go lid. This is the one that surprises people most. Two things drive chemicals out of plastics and into whatever the plastic is touching: heat and acid. Hot coffee is both. When you sip a hot, slightly acidic drink through a plastic lid or out of a paper cup lined with plastic, you're giving those compounds, including BPA and phthalates, the perfect conditions to migrate into your drink. These act like synthetic estrogen in the body, which is the last thing a midlife woman's fluctuating system needs. The swap is almost too easy. Bring your own glass or stainless travel mug, or simply pull the plastic lid off and let it cool for a minute before you drink. The Endocrine Society says it directly. Do not use plastic for hot liquids and choose glass or stainless steel instead. Number 2, antibacterial soap. This one feels clean, and that's exactly why it's on the list. For years, the active ingredient in many antibacterial soaps was a chemical called triclosan, which is a known endocrine disruptor. Here's the kicker. The science showed it was no better at preventing illness than plain soap and water. That's my opinion, even though it's consistent with my opinion. But in 2016, the FDA banned triclosan and a list of similar ingredients from over the counter consumer antibacterial soaps because the companies could not prove they were both safe for long term daily use and that they were more effective than regular soap. The swap costs you nothing. Plain soap, a little warm water, and a full 20 seconds of scrubbing is what actually works. I will say that it's sometimes difficult to find hand soap that isn't antibacterial, but that's what I want you to look for. Antibacterial on the label is a marketing word, not a health upgrade. Number 3, your canned healthy staples. This is the cruelest trap because it punishes the women trying hardest to eat well. You buy the organic black beans, the organic dried tomatoes, you're doing everything right. But the lining inside most cans is where BPA or its close chemical cousins live, and they leach into the food. And what makes them leach faster? Acidic foods. So canned tomatoes, the thing in half the healthy recipes online, are one of the worst offenders. Organic on the front of the can does nothing about the lining inside it. The swap, choose beans and tomatoes in glass jars or carton-style packaging. Or cook dried beans from scratch, which is what we do almost every week because my husband is vegan. This is cheaper anyway. If you do buy cans, look for ones explicitly verified non-toxic in their lining, not just BPA free, since some replacements aren't much better. Now, while we're talking about what's in your air and your kitchen, let me give you the active swap I want you running in the background through this entire list. Houseplants. As you remove these items, put a few real living plants in the rooms where you spend the most time. The Endocrine Society literally lists plant trees which filter airborne gases and particulate matter as one of its precautions. And a peace lily or two on a windowsill is the indoor version of that. It's not a magic air purifier, and I'll be honest with you about that, but it is a beautiful, low-cost, active step that works quietly while you sleep. Think of plants as the thing you add while you subtract everything else. Number 4, scented self-care. The plug-in air freshener, the fresh linen candle, the scented lotion, the spring meadow laundry detergent. Here's the legal loophole that should make you really angry. The single word fragrance on a label can legally hide dozens, sometimes hundreds of undisclosed chemicals. And the most common ones are phthalates. Phthalates are endocrine disruptors that mimic and interfere with your hormones. And you're applying some of those directly to your skin and leaving them there all day. Relaxing and self-care are exactly how these are marketed, which is the irony. The swap? Open a window for real fresh air. Switch to products labeled fragrance-free or scented only with essential oils, and choose true, unscented laundry detergent. Pick your 2 or 3 highest use products first, the ones you use every single day, and replace those. You don't have to redo the whole bathroom at once. This is one of the many ways hidden toxins can add stress to your system and create symptoms that seem hard to explain. I also made a video that I titled High Cortisol and Belly Fat: Why Your Workout is Sabotaging Your Metabolism. I explain how chronic stress can affect your hormones, metabolism, belly fat, and energy in midlife. So be sure to subscribe because I share practical tips on managing stress and supporting your body naturally just about every week. So let's keep going because we're halfway through, and the next four are just as easy to fix. Number five, chipped enamel cookware. That gorgeous enamel Dutch oven, the kind that gets handed down or splurged on, is wonderful right up until the enamel chips. Once that glossy coating cracks or flakes, two things happen. The raw material underneath is exposed, and tiny pieces of the coating can end up in your food, especially with long acidic braises. The cookware itself is not the villain. A chipped one is. The swap is simple but not cheap. Retire any piece with visible chips or cracks to a planter or the garage and cook in plain stainless steel or a well seasoned cast iron pan, both of which last for decades with nothing to flake off. Number six, conventional produce. I want to be careful here because eating more fruits and vegetables is one of the best things you can do. And I never want a fear of pesticides to make anyone eat less produce. But conventional produce can carry pesticide residues, and many pesticides are themselves endocrine disruptors. The Endocrine Society's own guidance is to buy organic produce, meat, and dairy when you can, and to wash everything thoroughly. The practical, budget friendly version, prioritize organic for the thin skinned items you eat a lot of, the berries, the leafy greens, the apples, and wash the rest well under running water. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good here. More produce, washed well, and organic where it counts. Number seven, plastic food storage. This is the cabinet full of mismatched plastic containers and lids that almost every kitchen has. Same principle as your coffee cup. Heat and time drive chemicals out of the plastic and into your food. And we make it worse by microwaving leftovers right in the container. The single most important rule in this whole video might be this one: never, ever microwave food in plastic. The swap is to slowly migrate to glass or stainless steel storage. I buy these glass containers with nice lids so that they actually will go from the freezer or refrigerator straight into the oven. It makes them really convenient, and I don't use the microwave, but if you do use the microwave, you can even put that glass container into the microwave. You don't have to throw everything you've got right now out today, but you do need to start heating things in glass or porcelain. Start by replacing the containers you actually reheat in and demote the old plastic to storing nonstick things like craft supplies or hardware, things that you don't have to ingest food from. Number eight, unfiltered tap water. You drink it every single day, which is exactly why it matters so much. Depending on where you live, tap water can carry a mix of contaminants, including the forever chemicals called PFAS, agricultural runoff, and in older homes, and lead from the pipes themselves can end up in your tap water. The Endocrine Society lists using a water filter as a basic precaution. I personally use a more advanced filter. I use a 3-stage reverse osmosis filter for all of the water that I drink and even cook with typically. I also have that run to my refrigerator and ice maker. So that's the swap you most likely will need to use, is to have an under-the-counter certified water filter installed. You can make it simpler and less costly with just a simple pitcher or a faucet attachment, but these are not going to do the same level of filtering that a 3-stage reverse osmosis system will do. Just remember that whatever technology you're using to purify your water, you're looking for one certified to reduce the specific contaminants common in your area. Filtering the water you drink and cook with every day is one of the highest leverage changes on the entire list. I want to give you one important caution here because it ties this whole list together. The single biggest trap in all of this is the clean and healthy label. The canned food was organic. The antibacterial soap promised to protect your family. The candle was fresh. The pattern is that the very language used to sell you these products is the thing that lowers your guard. So the real skill is not memorizing a list. It's learning to pause and to read the actual label and understand the ingredients, and to be a little suspicious of any product whose main selling point is how clean, fresh, or protective it claims to be. And please don't try to do all 8 of these this week. That is how people burn out and just quit. Pick the one that's easiest for you, the coffee lid or plain soap, and start there. Lowering your toxic load is not a sprint, it's a steady series of small, permanent decisions that hand your body back its capacity to heal. If you've been doing all the right things in midlife and still feel stuck, and you want to understand the hidden stressors like these everyday toxins that may be keeping your body from responding the way it should, grab a copy of my book, What's Your Kryptonite? It walks you through the toxic triggers that quietly keep you stuck. And make sure you subscribe for more practical root cause help with your hormones and your health. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 8 surprised you most? And which one are you going to remove first? Share it below. I read those comments to understand exactly what you need most. And if your best efforts to live a healthy lifestyle and do all the things you've been led to think are supposed to work are getting the job done, you may even be feeling like you take 2 steps forward and 3 back. I have more resources to help you navigate midlife. Just go to drgala.com/links and watch my next video, where I show you how to manage the toxic stress that's sabotaging your efforts. You can eliminate the symptoms that seem to be piling up in midlife naturally without medication, crazy diets, intense exercise, or any other unsustainable lifestyle hack.